Hello, welcome to my channel. I have a bunch of reels I want to clean. This is the end of the season, so a lot of them are dirty. I've already cleaned some pin squalls, and I've already cleaned a couple of the Garcia 6500 C3s, catfish specials. I just wanted to do show you how I do it. I'm not going to do the cleaning part. I'm just going to take it apart and then put it back together and clean it in between. There's a lot of videos out there, but I couldn't find anything really that was newer. Most of them were blurry, and people didn't really, a couple of them didn't even know what they were doing. So I'm going to try to show you how I do it. I always put the stuff in order as I take it off, the skeleton view like you get with the reel. I also have some PC Fun Chaos 60s. That thing was loose. Also inspecting, make sure everything was right when it came apart. I believe there was a piece missing. Oh no, there it is. It was right. It was had some grease underneath there. Just want to make sure all the parts are there as I take it apart, and you know, I don't see anything bad. Now I can go ahead and take all 5 of these out. It doesn't matter. Two Phillips. Just make sure you don't lose anything. Some of the stuff's pretty loose. These reels had a long season. Caught a lot of catfish on the Ohio River. Just looking for anything that's unusual. There's a clutch pack. Gotta make sure you don't lose this little brass or bronze washer. Gotta make sure that doesn't get lost, because that's got to go back on. I'm just looking for anything that looks unusual. Now this has 4 of the brakes, the little pads loose, which gives you a little bit more drag. I'm going to push 2 of those in, and I'm just going to use 2. Might cast a little better, a little bit smoother. So you can pull this shaft out. Now this does come off, but you don't need to. As long as it looks clean, which this one does. I will drop a little bit of oil in there when I put it back together. This does pop off here, so you can see where the bearing is. And so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. So I'm going to clean all that. I'll flip it over here. I'm going to take this part. Makes it a little easier to let it sit on the table here. What I'll do is I'll take a break here when I get it apart, and I'll clean everything. I'll take all the clutches apart. They are carbon. Now you have 2 black spacers here. You want to make sure you don't lose those. And this plate here comes off. And to get the pawl out, just pull that off there and You can actually pull this over. Could have done this first. I mean, it doesn't matter. The pole looks good. See a little bit of something fall out right there. Now it's just a matter of cleaning everything. Very simple to take apart. I don't take this all the way apart. I can clean most of the parts from here with a Q-tip, and just got some light oil on it. So that's as simple as taking it apart. Just take it off apart as like the expanded view of it, and so I'll go ahead and take that apart, and we will clean everything, and then we'll start putting it all back together. Put the bearing in the end here. Slide that in there. Now you got to put this piece on here so it slides, and you can put it in the slot up there at the top so it slides back and forth. While you're holding this, you can actually put this together so it doesn't fall apart on you. Very simple. Just slides in there like that. Put it on this post first and then slide it over. And you can see it spins. You can go ahead and put the pawl in. Now I'm going to oil this after we're all done. So I'm not putting any oil on it at the moment. But everything's in great shape. These reels have 4 or 5 years fishing on these reels here. Has no problem going back and forth, nice and smooth, and it'll even be smoother once I put some oil. And I'm using TSI 321. That's a synthetic lubricant. It's really good stuff. I've been using that for years, and it doesn't evaporate. You take the reels apart, and it's still on it a year later. So it's really good stuff. Okay, so we got this far. Now this reel's had a modification on it. These are pressed on normally. Take a razor blade and cut the little lip off, and get very careful you don't cut yourself. But that comes off, and then you sand it, get it smooth, and this goes right back on there. And then you put the E-clip, which you can buy at Lowe's, Home Depot. They don't cost anything. So I'm going to just pop that back on there. Now, you can put more grease on this if you're fishing out a boat, which I am, but I'm just going to go ahead and put 1 drop of this really good lubricant in there. Now, I've already put some on it because I kind of test fit it earlier, but you can see how smooth that is. I mean, it just spins and spins and spins. And I also put a little dab of grease down in where that shaft's going to go. I don't think that shaft turns. Shouldn't turn, but in case it does, it's got a little bit of grease down in there. Okay, next thing is you want to put this plate on there. And I did put a little dab of that synthetic oil on that. Anything that moves should be lubricated. Next comes the 2 black spacers, little plastic spacers. And you can actually go ahead and just stick this together with the reel seat. Just slide this down. Now you're gonna have to move your clicker back and forth sometimes to get this thing to sit in there right. Oh, they fall right in there. There you go. Okay. I'll take the three screws. If you put this in first together, it just sits flat on the table here, and it's real easy to work with. Saw some of the videos where they put the other end together first, and you got the handle and everything to mess with. Never tighten them up all the way yet until you get all of them started. Then work them in. Okay. Now you can go ahead and put your spool in. I did put a little bit of grease on the one. You don't have to put any grease on the clicker. What am I doing here? It just slides right down in there. Now, I do like to put just a dab of oil on anything that's might be spinning. Not very much, because it'll just sling off and go everywhere. Okay. Now this piece here, I cleaned it really good, and I dabbed a little bit of grease on the brass gear right there. I'm going to go ahead and slide this on for now. Okay. Now I've already actually oiled this. You can see some oil in there, and this is going to be so that works perfect. So we're going to set this over here. We're going to look at the drag system. I'm going to go ahead and put just a tad of grease on here. This doesn't really spin except for when you're hooked a big fish or whatever. Okay. Now what I'm going to use is I've got some Dad's old tackle, Carl's tan reel grease here. I'm going to put some on here. Not a lot. You won't even see it when I'm done, but I just want to push it in. I've been using this stuff for a long time. It doesn't make any difference in the reel. I mean, everything comes out perfect. It doesn't, have any side effects or damage the reel or doesn't slip. Just really light. The next one has the ears on it. Just make sure it goes down in the slot. And your last carbon fiber, whatever they are. Some people put these on dry. I put a little bit on there. Like I say, it's always worked. Okay, that's all you're going to use that for. Just a couple little dabs. Bring this back over. Now it's time to put that little brass or bronze little washer on there. I'm going to put a little dab of grease there and try to spread it out a little bit. This will spread it out. And just a small amount. Doesn't have to be a lot. Now, I've already greased this. I put some dabs on it after I cleaned it, so it should be good. You don't have to put a lot. It doesn't do any good to put a lot on there. I'm just looking here. The anti-reverse, I cleaned it out really good. I wasn't rough with it, but I cleaned all the oil out with Q-tips and stuff, the old grease. Then I re-greased it with this high-tech grease. It's just it's actually for my guns, but it lasts forever. I put some of that in there and I rubbed it in, and I rubbed it down into the roller bearings, so it should be good to go. So you can just take this, okay, I'm going to take the two Phillips in first. And I'm going to spin these in a little bit. Just to hold it from falling apart. Don't tighten them down until you get them all in there. Okay, this piece here, I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of grease on it. Again, if you put too much, it'll just sling out and go all over the place, but it just takes a little bit. Okay, I like to put a little dab in there in the center, actually right on the end of that thing, because it spins sometimes when you tighten it up. I don't tighten this all the way down yet. Now, the last few pieces, you want to put these two pieces here, which they'll be facing away from each other like a clamshell. It's hard to tell. I've got some grease on my fingers now. But they are facing away from each other like a shell. I'm going to go ahead and slide them on the shaft. I'm going to go ahead and put just a dab of grease on here because this spins and pushes down. Anything that touches metal to metal should have some grease on it. Now I'll also put just a little bit of oil on these threads. Fine threads. Yeah. Real easy to cross thread these. There it goes. It was a little bit dirty up there. I did brush them really good with a toothbrush, and then put this facing up, the two ends facing down. Slide this on here, and the nut, which was actually a little bit loose before, I'm going to go ahead and snug it down. Then the C-clip. C-clip is important. If you don't put that, then you get a little bit of looseness in your reel. There it is. Then, and one thing I should have watched for is I need to loosen it back up just a little bit or tighten it. There you go. That way the little screw here lines up with a hole. Okay, got a couple more things to do here. I'm going to put a couple drops of oil here. Wipe off any excess because it don't do any good if it's outside. All right, now I can come back and put a few drops of oil in here. Okay, that's all there is to it. Abus are really simple. I'm going to do 2 more videos. I'm going to do the pin squall, and also I'm going to do a video on the Pissy Fun Chaos 60, which is the 6000, and that one's going to take a while because there's a lot of parts in that thing. I've already lost an E-clip out of that thing. I had to order some from the internet. I've got 8 of those actually. I've been fishing with 4, and I'm going to actually retire the Abus for right now. They work really good. There is no problem with them. As soon as I say that. Oh, the drag was just really loose. I'm like, what? So the drag works fine. You can tighten it up, you know, and it works good. So there you go, all done. Thank you for watching.